Hi everyone, this is Disneyland Resort news for visitors or tourists for December 2024. And we are first starting off with the Disneyland Resort as a whole. It is in the middle of the Christmas season, so there are different food festivals going on top of Christmas season is here. We do have separate videos for each of those food festivals and the Christmas offerings, and we'll link all of those in the description below. And the Christmas season will continue through January 6th.
You can visit with Santa up to December 24th, and then after that he's going to be busy with all of his Santa duties, but you will be able to visit with Santa Goofy. He'll be located at Redwood Creek Challenge Trail at Disney California Adventure.
On December 4th, California Adventure will be closing at 9 p.m. and this is for a radio station that is hosting a private party. Guest attendees to the party will be able to enter the park at 6 p.m. so you'll expect crowds to start picking up in the evening. There will be special show times for World of Color. The first showing will be at 8:30 p.m. and the later showing will be at 11 p.m.
This coming weekend, December 7th and 8th, is the Candlelight Processional at Disneyland. This is a very special show that we highly recommend you take time to watch if you have the time to do it. We absolutely love it. There will be two showings, one at 5:30 and one at 7:45 on both days. And because of that, the Christmas Fantasy Parade will be changed a little bit in terms of timing. So it'll be at 12:45 p.m. and 3:15 p.m. on those 2 days, January 7th and 8th. And we wanted to say, if you are going to try to watch this show, we recommend trying for the later show at 7:45 p.m. And the reason being is because a lot of people will line up pretty much all day for the first showing at 5:30, and it's a lot harder to get in to try to view that first showing. After the first showing is done, they kind of clear a lot of people out of the area, so we think your chances will be better at the 7:45 p.m. show to kind of just walk up and hopefully get a good spot and enjoy the beautiful show.
Disneyland will be offering a kids ticket special from January 7th through March 20th, and kids ages 3 through 9 can attend Disney as low as $50 per day, and that is for a one park per day ticket. Disney will be offering other ticket options at different price points. Check out their website for more details.
Another thing we wanted to point out is the Haunted Mansion Holiday is no longer using a virtual queue, which is great news. Now you can either wait in the standby line or use the Lightning Lane Multi-Pass to book a time to ride that attraction.
Tiana's Bayou Adventure is still on a virtual queue or a Lightning Lane Multi-Pass. When we were there, we just chose to do the virtual queue. There are 3 queue drops per day, the first at 7 a.m. and the people who can try for that 7 a.m. virtual queue have to have a starting park reservation over at Disneyland. The other 2 drops are at 12 p.m. and 4 p.m. And if you have a reservation for Disneyland or California Adventure, as long as you are scanned into the park, you can try for either of those 2 queue times.
And we did the 12 p.m. drop, and we rode around 2 p.m. and the whole process of waiting in the line and riding the attraction took about an hour. We were done around 3. And we got seat 5 and 6, which is the last seats in the log, and we really lucked out because we didn't get all that wet, maybe a little bit on our face, but we were wearing a poncho. However, we do want to point out that people in the front of our log in seats 1 and 2 were completely drenched. I mean, they looked like they jumped into a pool with all of their clothing on, and I did feel a little bit bad for them that they were that drenched. That being said, when you're sneaking around in the queue, there are some garbage cans towards the exit of the ride, and a lot of people will dump off their ponchos they just used on the attraction there for other people to use. So if you don't have a poncho and you need one, look out for that garbage can. Our son actually did that. He decided to ride on a Sunday night. He got a backup boarding group of 180, so we weren't sure if he was going to be able to ride, but he did. He got to ride around 8 p.m., I believe, and he did not have a poncho because we didn't know he was planning on riding it, so we didn't bring our ponchos in. And him and his girlfriend were able to grab an extra poncho on that garbage can, and they still got wet but not soaked. A new store just opened in downtown Disney. It's called the D-Lander store, and it's kind of right across from the new Din Tai Fung restaurant. And from what I've seen online, because it unfortunately opened right after we left, is it looks like it's a lot of very high-end brands, meaning very expensive. I did see some photos of some Minnie Mouse ears in a case, and I believe they were $2,500. So it's a lot of pricey items in the store, but the store did look very nice, and I did like that they had different merchandise offerings in this store compared to World of Disney.
December is one of the busiest times at the Disneyland Resort, with the final 2 weeks of the year probably the busiest. And as we approach Christmas, New Year's Eve, and New Year's Day, be prepared for those crowds, especially if you're going those last 2 weeks of the year. We do recommend getting the Lightning Lane multi-pass and taking advantage of getting to the park at rope drop or when the park opens, and staying as late as you possibly can. We were at the Disneyland Resort Thanksgiving week, and the Monday before Thanksgiving was incredibly crowded. When we got to Disneyland, we went ahead and we started making Lightning Lane multi-passes immediately, and that is to take advantage of something that you pay for, because those Lightning Lanes start going away quickly the more crowded the park gets. By noon, we started making reservations, and we noticed that those reservations were after 4 p.m. and we're thinking, oh no, what are we gonna do? And so what we did was we just booked an attraction we wanted, and then once we booked it, then we hit modified, and while we're standing in line, we just kept refreshing and refreshing, and we were able to get a time that was 2 hours earlier. While that completely stinks being on your phone that much, it is one way you can take advantage of that Lightning Lane multi-pass and get your money's worth.
If you are planning a trip in early 2025, we wanted to point out that there is a Run Disney event that starts on January 30th and runs through February 2nd. There's also the Lunar New Year, and Disney has not released the official dates yet, but it usually starts at the end of January and runs through mid-February.
This brings up attraction closures. Casey Junior Circus Train will be closed December 2nd through the 6th. Storybook Land Canal Boats, December 2nd through the 5th. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad will reopen on December 13th. And Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln is still closed. Jolly Holiday Bakery will be closed January 7th, and the reopening date is TBD, or to be determined. And over at California Adventure, there are two attractions that will be closing on January 6th, and there is a to be determined reopening date, and the first is Grizzly River Run, and the second is Emotional Whirlwind.
Moving on to upcoming conventions that may affect your trip in 2025. The first is the Student Leadership Conference, which is January 14th. The Spirit Nationals are February 14th. Dance Championships are March 21st. WonderCon is March 28th, VidCon is June 18th, and the Pokemon Championship is August 15th through the 17th.
Upcoming videos that you can expect later this month and into 2025, we will be visiting Del Sol Inn for a room tour. We will be releasing our 2025 hotel picks, and we'll be using our personal experience plus checking out the latest reviews for our recommendations. And we will be releasing a 5 closest hotels to Disneyland. And finally, we'll be redoing and updating our first-time visitors guide to Disneyland. Thank you so much.